that I talk about a lot with the women that I not only coach, but just women in general, is understanding what season that we're in and being able to identify that season. And God speaks to us through things that we see, through things that we feel, through things that we hear. And one of the things, though, that I love is that God will speak to us through nature. Okay. And being a girl that was raised on it, I wasn't really completely raised, but my grandparents had a farm. There was times that I would just wander out in the field and wander by the creek and sit under a tree and just really think about God and think about life. And I believe that God, that's where I learned to hear God through nature. And one of the areas is just understanding when we identify the season that we're in, we are, number one, we're present. And we can be present. We don't worry about what's coming up next. We don't worry about what we know that we can take those things that we just learned and how did that grow me? How did that, even just this morning I had a conversation with someone and just the challenges that she had, and now looking at things at a new perspective. Rather than saying, I regret that happened, just what did I learn, what did I grow, and how am I showing up now in this season more confident in Him and in who He's made me. But one of the things that I love, Vaine, is that we are in the season of fall right now.
Yes.
And I have 2 trees. Here in Florida, we don't really see a whole lot of the tree change and everything, but we have 2 trees in our front yard that actually start changing color, and they've started doing that. They're yellow on the top, and in a few weeks, the leaves are all going to fall. So we kind of pretend we're in a fall state. But think about that. Think about when you're in the when you're in the season of autumn, and when you're in a season of fall, usually the first thing is you notice a change in the atmosphere. I know I've noticed a change in the atmosphere. I'm already wanting to wear fall colors. I'm bringing everything out, but I feel a change in the air. I feel like it's less humid. I feel like it's not as hot anymore. And we can identify that in the spirit in a fall season. We notice that there's a change in the air. We notice that we can maybe breathe a little bit better. We're enjoying getting outside. We're enjoying getting maybe outside of the box that we've kept ourselves in. And that's those beautiful changes. Also the colors, when you look at the leaves and the areas that change colors, they're beautiful colors. And change is beautiful. Change can be beautiful. I think that we have to recognize that in order to grow, we have to change. There's things that have to change not only within ourselves, but also in our surroundings. And what are those things? Identify those things. What are things that I can tell that something's changing, and just embrace those changes. Those changes are beautiful, therefore are good.
Yes.
And then the last part of fall is really when the leaves begin to fall off. They begin to fall and drop off. And I look at it in that way as, what are the things in my life that I need to let go of?
And that's sometimes so hard.
It's very hard.
Yes.
Sometimes it's easy. You go, okay, I'm getting the okay to let go of this. Okay, now I can say no to that. But there are things that sometimes God will require us to let go of something. And what we have to remember is that when He wants us to let go of something, it's only because He's preparing us to grab a hold of something brand new. And it is coming. And it's part of that season, embracing that season. So I not only love the physical, season of fall, but just recognizing what that looks like in each of our lives, in every area of our life. What are the things that we need to embrace, how we need to be present, how we need to breathe in this new atmosphere and environment that we're in right now, spiritually as well. And then what things do we need to release and believe for God to bring into our future.
And I think that one of the things that that speaks so much to me, and I think to everyone, is that yes, there are certain changes that are easy to make, right?
Yeah.
But usually, when God is really ready to take us to a new place or a new position, or into a new assignment, I don't know why I'm saying this word so many times lately, but when God is really needing us in a new position, or He's changing us to a new season, A lot of times God will ask us to release things
Yes.
or to walk into a certain change that we do not want to willingly do that.
Yes.
But if we just trust,
Absolutely.
just think about it, you know, if you really take nature as an example of it,
Right.
the trees, they just surrender.
They do.
They surrender to
absolutely
the cycle, and they surrender to the seasons,
Yes.
because there is that, you know, intelligence, there is this intelligence in nature that knows
Yes.
that everything is cyclical.
Mhm.
But how many times we fail to do that? And God tells us in His Word that if He takes care so much of nature,
Yes.
and there's a beautiful passage, I don't know if you know the passage that I'm talking about. I never know passages, I just know the context of them.
Yes.
But it's talking about, if I even take care of the birds and the flowers in the field,
Yes.
what about you, that I created you beautifully and purposefully? And sometimes we forget
Yes.
that God sees us with much more value than nature, and nature is already wonderful.
Yes.
So I love this. Thank you so much for
Yes.
bringing this to the conversation today. Awesome. Love it.